Aloha, I can guess. Can I chat? Yeah, you can. Everybody, if you're more than welcome. I just really, the whole idea. No, I didn't really start over. The idea is, why exclude the public from anything that we're doing here? When I do the first one, it's just to meet people and greet. The whole idea is to get members and put a green name behind that. If you have a green name in this members only, it's still public, but I really just interact with the members. This is supposed to be an idea, so if you feel the need to ask musical questions like what are the 3 triad notes that are part of an A major, I would say A, C sharp, and E. If you say, well, hey, how do you make that an A flat? I would say you would diminish the 1, the 3, and the 5, making it an A flat, having our C, and then our E. If we're going to be playing a little bit of music here, I know that I've been working with Mark with the ukulele, so I have it out. But if I do have an instrument like a banjo, mandolin, guitar, piano, or can even go to the whiteboard and write out some musical information, it makes it a lot easier to understand notation. So, yeah. Ich spiel dann Dunkelhe. Do sofa. Become a member, and I will definitely sing you a song in German, my friend, my friend. Anybody out there have any musical questions? If you got a green name, the real Justin Kaepernick. And Mark, if you have, I'm back, not tech savvy, but I found the, oh, good job, Mark. How's your process going with writing your song? From what I remember, you have the rhythm, you've got some lyrics written down, you've got it in a key. Ich liebe die Musik. Ein. What is that key is it in? I am the wall, ich bin der Leiter. What would that be in? I have to get up on a tangent. I know this is for members, but. So far from the E minor to B7, I'm looking for the following chord. G doesn't sound right. So remind me again what key you're in. You're in the key of G major? Or the key of E minor? The idea is you would have, let's define this really quick, Mark. Let me see if you, okay, cool. So from the E minor to the B minor 7, I'm looking for the following chord. G doesn't sound right. So E minor on the ukulele, when we're doing this, can be established by playing the 3rd here, the B, the root, the G, and then, oh, I'm sorry. The 5th here, the B, the G, the middle note, and then the E, the root. I also like to play my finger over the bottom of here because it's playing a perfect prime. This B note is also this B note right here. So sometimes when moving from this here, if we play just our first finger over the 2nd fret in its entire top, that is a D6 or a B minor 7. So, and then when going to the G, it might sound a little too open because the 2 double G's are primes. Maybe making it into like, say, a G sus and then resolving it would take away some of that weird tension. So doing like a E minor, B minor 7, and then negate doing just the G like this, and then lay down your finger here and smoosh the C. So it gives this feeling of suspension. And that works quite well if you're at the end of a cadence, meaning da 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 at the end of a measure or a bar. As far as other chords you could throw in there that aren't exactly there, if you are in the key of G, G major would have G major. Of course, it would have A minor. So maybe you could substitute the A minor, the minor 2nd, or the major 2nd being played as a minor chord for that E minor. So if you're is it in 4/4? I can't remember. I assume it is. 4/4's common time is generally the easiest to do. Hey, Martin, thanks for being here. And remember, you can always subscribe at any time to the channel. I hope you do. Get yourself a name. If you are a musician, we give out wrenches on this channel, or an artist, of anybody of that you would like to drop links to cool creative stuff going on. And then this generally is for people that have a green highlight on their name. They are members for this channel, so what they're going to do is get a little bit more personal interaction right now. So in basic, just learning how to read tabs from sight rating. Cool. Remember that the books that you buy, if it's a book, the tabs are 99% right. Sometimes they'll negate doing the full song. Like this one, I did an Elvis song earlier. There's no B section. I know for sure that it goes to a B section. Wasn't in the book. Bummer. But yeah, anything you get offline, be very wary about it. It'll give you weird chords for it. There's copyright infringement things. So like if you're in the key of what we're talking about, G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminish, they would put this F sharp diminish as like a G flat diminish. Because it's not necessarily inside or outside the key, but somebody who's playing music in the beginning won't know the difference that these are enharmonic equivalence note names. This is also called an F sharp diminish or a D7. So the long and short of it is, all the music that you find on the internet, like Ultimate Tabs and Ultimate Guitar, and I use Chordy a lot. Chordy, C-H-O-R-D-I-E is a great thing. It's kind of like Ultimate Guitar as well. And if you use one out there, put it in the comment section below. I would love to learn a new one. Oh, you like the live stuff, Tech? Awesome, thank you. I guess I'm just weird enough to make it work. What did we say here? B7 is the 5 chord of the E major, so any G feels weird. Yeah, I mean, relatively, I like doing weird stuff and using the circle fifth. So Mark, maybe we could talk about just a real quick thing on the circle fifths, put our eyes on that if we could. I hope this isn't backwards when I'm doing it. If it is backwards when I'm doing it, I could just drop backwards. Give me 2 seconds. So Mark, make sure that we're in the key of G when we're doing this. Oh, you heard of Chordy? Groovy. Make sure that we're in the key of G. If so, this is what it looks like. Tell me if these letters are actually the right way. Does that G look like a G to you, or does that look like a backwards letter? I can't remember about this recording thing. If not, I'll just write backwards. That's fine. I'm dyslexic. Oh, right on. All right, so circle fifths, when we're doing this, when we have C and then we have G, we're going to have our D, A, E, and then we've got B, and then we've got F sharp, and then we've got C sharp. This is our circle of fifths. Now, all of these notes happen to be oh no, it should be forwards now. I'm writing backwards for this silly camera because I don't get technology. Anyway, this is our circle of fifths. The whole reason behind this is when we go this way, we call these as being fives. And these fifths are really cool because when they go to the side, what we see is that everything moves. So these fifths go this way. C, D, E, F, G. G has 1 sharp. That sharp is F sharp. But since we know that F is right here as well, and this is the side that we would call the circle of force. Oops. Circle of force. This way that we go 4 notes. So C, D, E, F. That's the way that we know which way that we could find to have the circle giving us our key signature. Now, the key signature we get from C has no sharps and no flats. So when we see the staff, or the stave rather, it doesn't have anything on it. Aforementioned, when we go to the, oh, you know what? I do that forwards, sorry. I don't know if I could draw this backwards. I've never tried. Oh, that's horrible. Here, let me give me a second. Ooh, that's hard. So when we go here to G, same thing we have, we've got a sharp up here. It's going to be on the top line of the treble clef because that top line is going to be the F. So when we write out your key, our key is going to be written out as this. We've got a chord that is our root, our 1 chord. We've got our 2 chord, our 3 chord, our 4 chord, our 5 chord, our 6 chord. Did I do that right? Yeah. And then our 7 chord. So going through the process of seeing these, we've got our G, we've got our E, oops, we've got our F, and because, sorry, I'm crazy, A, We've got our B, we've got our C, we've got our D, got our E. This is our relative minor, our natural minor. So this is the same key signature, and that gives us this. So the key that we're writing in, buddy, the only thing that you need to keep a keen eye on which one of these that is knowing that our CD 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, our 6 is a minor. I don't know what I'm doing. 6 is a minor, that's our E. And then our last one is the weird one. It's our sharp. That's the chord that we're gonna be using. So when I said that the D7 feels like that D7 in and of itself, so when you do that D7, it feels like it's your F sharp diminished. The whole reason is when we do D, the spelling of D is D, F sharp, A. That's what our triad is. D, E, F sharp, G, A. So when we add the 7th on there, we're simply adding the C. D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the way that all music works. And when we write it out here, like on our stave, I don't know if I can do that again. I can't. That's hard to do, man. All right, and then we've got our D, F sharp, and A. That's what our chord's gonna look like on our stave. So the whole point of doing this is to see what chords work. So if your chord progression, Mark, is gonna be writing, is this a cult? Absolutely, it's a cult. When you go through your key signatures, you wanna write out the progression utilizing these. So having said that, what are the chords in order, Mark, that you're doing? And anybody else, if you're jumping on here, thank you for hanging out with us. Triads and writing backwards, this is definitely a cult. Well, hail Satan. Actually, that's a poor cult. You know, these Luciferians get a bad rap. Not that I want to talk about existentialism, but Lucifer is only mentioned in both texts of the Western World Dogmatic Bible like 3 times. And out of all the countless murder and death there is in both versions, old and new, I don't remember the character as Lucifer or Satan or one of those angels ever killing anybody. A lot of temptation. When you get a little educated about it, what you find out is God, the Jesus, and the Satan are just the triad. They're the judge, the jury, and the prosecution. Whatever. I don't want to talk about existentialism and that. Let's talk about this. Okay, so G to E minor to B7. So what we're doing is we're taking a chord outside of the key. G and E are definitely in the chord. The progression we would have our 1 chord, and then we would have our 6 chord, and then we would have our 3 chord, but our 3 chord now is not just a 3, it's a 3 dominant. Ooh-wee! So if we're gonna play this, let's hear what it sounds like on the piano. We've got our G major, E minor, and then our B dominant. That's a wonderful passing chord. So what I would say, your B7 could either go up to a C, which is your 4 chord, or you could use your B dominant to go to your E minor again. You could also use your B dominant. If you want to see this, my bad. I often forget to move the cameras. G major, 1, 3, 5. You could also move that to your E minor, simply moving up and moving your C over. Here's your E, G, and your B. You could go up to a C minor and do a half tone resolution on the 3 to make it go from a common chord C minor to the chord that's actually in the key, the 4 chord, the C major. You could also go from the B dominant to the E minor. And if you want to modulate to a new chord or key signature, you could actually go to an E major. So I usually reserve common tone resolutions for the end of a cadence or the very end of a song. It's called a Piccadilly third, where you do the whole song and then the last measure, last chord, you switch the whole tonality of the piece from being a minor piece into a major feeling at the end. It's called a Piccadilly third. It's a type of resolution that happens at a standard PAC cadence. Perfect authentic cadence. Anywho, Mark, I think that doing that B7, why don't you play around with the C major, the 4 chord, and then maybe even try the 4 chord as a minor. That might lead to some cool stuff. And when I'm doing writing charts, I put parentheses, or not parentheses, I put brackets around my measure to make sure I know that that's the measure in question. I used to circle it, but that gets all over the place. And I find when I leave these in my charts, it makes sense for me to go, oh, I have the option. Like earlier we were talking about, you could switch out that E minor for an A minor. That's what I would put in the bracket. So here I would definitely put our 4 chord, right? And then I would definitely be putting like maybe switching to the E major or the C minor. You could do this as the minor chord, the 4 chord. And then you could also try out doing something completely AWOL. And that's the whole reason why I wanted to show you the circle fifths. What you have going on is you're utilizing the circle fifths to know that you've got a C, G, and D as your 1, 4, 5. This is your 1 chord. This is your 4 chord. This is your 5 chord. When you do the A, of course, A is going to be your 2 chord. Then you've got your 6 chord. And then you've got your 7 chord. No, that's not right. My bad. 3 chord, then 7 chord. It is hard to do things backwards. It's a great test for the brain, though. Dear gold. So the whole reason why I use the circle fifths this way, it shows you what your majors are, it shows you what your minors are, and then it shows you what your diminished or your lending tone, your leading tone, the passing chord. It's a great way to jump from one to the other, right? So going here, if you fill out the rest of this circle with the flats, but you kind of fill them out as their sharps or their enharmonic equivalencies, you'll basically be talking about playing your B, but your B now is a B flat. You've got your E, that now is the E flat. You have your A flat. After A flat, you've got your D flat. Now, believe it or not, D flat is the same as C sharp. So these two right here are the same. Your G flat is your F sharp. And then right here, your C flat is your B. So all of these have relative equal ones. I mean, when you play your E, you're just playing a D double flat. I know that sounds crazy. When you go this way and you play in your A flat, well, let's keep going with our sharps. C, D, E, F, G. And let's include those sharps. C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. Well, when we keep going around here, well, yeah, G sharp is A flat. G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp, D sharp. Yes, D sharp is E flat. Do you see where we're going with this? So maybe it would be kind of cool to pull a chord that has nothing to do with the key of G. And when we do that, it alters the air and the tone. So a lot of the time I'll be doing something like we'll be playing in G major. And here's the reason why I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, Mark. I don't want to write this for you. I want you to see the possibilities and be able to do it. So try the B7 and then try the C minor. I mean, if I was hearing and emulating a song like, let's say, Rufus Wainwright or something, I'd be like, and the reason why all that nonsense I did just works with that C minor, you're basically using 2 keys at the same time. You're using J major with E minor, which is the relative major minor, and then you're also kind of using B flat. I used the C minor in B flat as the minor 2. I could have gone to the minor G minor and then back to the G as a resolution. I would have stayed away from the A diminished and stuff like that. So what I'm doing is just talking about relativity of the 7 tones used in a key signature, and that is essentially what the circle of fifths is. So when using the circle of fifths, the whole idea behind this is to get very familiar with playing these chords and then being able to toy with them so you can find different feelings. Let me see if I can move those over here. And then if anybody has a question about this, I hope you got a little wrench. Taking notes? Nice. So if we are doing something in the key of G right here, can we still see that? Can we see the circle too? That'd be creepy. One of the cooler things we have right here is if we're doing G major, and then we go to our E minor, and then we hit our, let's say, 3 chord as a major or B dominant. You need to do the bar with the C at the 3rd fret for the C triple, the E flat or the D sharp, or you can play it like an E minor and just move every tone down and keep the A string open. Our C sharp minor sounds a little awkward on the ook, but the resolution down to the common tone. Oh, no, we did do C sharp, didn't we? No, it wasn't C sharp minor. Sorry, it was C minor. Here we go. That's groovy. And you know, you don't even have to do the C minor. It is a little bit outside the pocket, but that's fun. If we were to do something like the B flat, that one feels outside the pocket, but if we use that C minor, well, that's the minor second in the key of B flat. So the whole idea about being able to use like a G minor, being the relative minor of B flat major, it gives you a little bit of tonality, them sharing the same key signature, two flats. So one of the really cool things we talk about here is how to take things step by step and then how to view chords. This was an explanation of the circle of fifths. This is the key of G. And it was a healthy lesson for me on how to write backwards. I haven't done that in quite a while. Speaking of that, if you are a musician or if you just like doing stuff like this for your brain, try to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Say it out loud. Now do it backwards. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Now say A, B, C, D, E, F, G. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Most people can't go up and down with letters the same way they do with numbers. Our brains aren't trained that way. No school system really does that, unless you've been watching those videos where people do the sobriety test and they try to do the alphabet backwards, which is lots of funny. The whole idea is when you can say them backwards, it makes a lot more sense to actually do things in descending order. Your brain will start thinking forwards and backwards. That's the same thing when you're practicing scales or anything on a piano, being able to go forwards, backwards, left hands, counterpoint. All these are things that aren't really talked about when you're starting to learn how to play an instrument. So with my students, I teach them how to do what I taught Mark, and anybody else who becomes a member. Any instrument that you have that you use your hands to play, you can always move up in step and get really quick. Oh, you got me, officer. Every time I've had a cop tell me to say something backwards, I say no. Right away. Be like, now that I'm an adult and I don't do anything wrong, I just generally just roll down my window a little bit, put out my information, and I wait for them to say something. And I say, I do not answer questions. The reason being, you don't have to answer questions. You have to make sure that you know your rights, though, and that you are actually not doing anything wrong. If you try to take the moral high ground and then you are doing something wrong, like you're not wearing your seatbelt or you're driving with you talking on your cell phone, or God forbid you're drunk or something, don't do it then. But absolutely assert your rights. Fascist! All right, let's write a song about that this week, folks. I'm just joking. Tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing-a-ding-ding, ring-a-ding-ding-doo. I'm going to jump on at 9 o'clock, hang out with everybody. This also will be live like every one of my other members. Live sessions, however, like this one, we just really interact with those who have that green name. Members, thank you for becoming members today. Justine, it's good seeing you here today. I hope we learned just a little bit about music. And remember, if you have any, if you want to make a more connection with this channel and myself, you could always give me an email to booking Wago Hana Hou, BOOKING WAGO HANA HOU at gmail.com. Hana Hou means play it again in Olelo, Hawaiian, and basically it's Wago Howard, play it again. The whole idea behind this channel is to influence people, demystify music, and then put a little pizzazz behind your playing. I really hope that everybody has a chance to meet each other in this community, and then go check out the other channels. A couple people here who aren't yet members, which is fine, but they're subscribers for sure that have their own channels and they're doing the same thing. Go check them out. Tech Death Hippie. Mehdi, I didn't really get a chance to chat with you here or in the other one. I hope I see you tomorrow, and I'll definitely sing a song in German for you. Martin, it's good seeing you again. British Columbia, I know I've watched your channel there. That's a good time difference. Thanks for being here. Sequoia, I've seen your name in the chat section before, but, become a member. Hang out with us here. Tech, it was good seeing you. Very much so. I enjoy your channel as well. Rachel, thank you for moderating today. And Mark, as always, thanks for being here and discussing what you're working on with music. I think that your song was going to come along. And then, hi, David. If you have a chance, Give me an email, show me what instrument you're on, what you're working with, and ask questions. The whole idea behind this is if you're like, I know how to play G and I know how to play E, maybe I could cut you out an eternity by just saying, why don't you use your pinky on that note rather than moving your finger. I know millions of little tricks like that, and the idea is strumming with chords turns into a lot of fun music, and it just doesn't have to stay on one instrument. Appreciate everybody being here today. I get the privilege of teaching drums right now to my first student. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you for becoming members. Thank you for being a subscriber. And please share this. Music education is tops, isn't it? Anyway, have a great day. It was wonderful seeing everybody. David, if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe. I'll see you for our next session. Aloha.